We're almost done. Right now, I'm in the header file. We still have some static sections inside the template. First, let's tackle the title. WordPress provides 2 solutions for adding titles to your head. The first solution is a bit outdated, and that is by using the WP title function. This function is to be deprecated, but is still available for backwards compatibility. I do not suggest using it. The recommended solution is to add theme support for it. I'm going to delete the title tags from the head tag, and then open up the setup file. I'm going to call the function add theme support and pass in title tag. Just like that, WordPress will always generate the title tag for you. Any SEO plugins will also be able to make modifications if they wish. Next up is the logo itself. The logo can either be text or an image. Currently, we only have text. We are also willing to accept images. I'm going to call the function add theme support again and pass in custom logo. WordPress comes with a feature for users to upload their own logos. We don't have to make a form or handle the upload. You'll see how this works in just a moment. Go back to the header template and look for the div tag with the ID of logo. Inside this tag, add a conditional statement. To check if the user has uploaded a logo, you have to use the function has custom logo. This function will return true if the user uploaded a logo. Otherwise, it'll return false. If there is a logo, then we can call the function called the custom logo. This function will output the image along with a link to the homepage. In some situations, the user might not have a logo ready when they set up the theme. Whatever the reason may be, you should have a backup. So, we add the else block and we manually create a link. I'm going to use the static version as a template. I'm going to replace the link and echo out the value returned by the function home URL. I'm going to pass in a / so we can specify that we only want the root URL. Inside the tags, I'm going to call the blog info function. This function takes in a string, which is what piece of information about the blog we want. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to more info about this function. If we look at what we can pass, the very first one is name, which returns the name of the site, so let's pass that in. This function will automatically output the value. If you ever want the value returned, then you just use the getBlogInfo function. Let's refresh the page and check if everything's working so far. If you look at the title, you'll notice it updates accordingly. The logo is also showing our text. To change the logo to an image, you need to click this button called Customize. This will take you to the customizer, which is a way to edit your site while also viewing the changes in real time. Under Site Identity, you will find the form for updating the logo. I don't have a logo image, so I will leave this alone. The next 2 things I want to update is this menu and fix this advertising spot. Before I do that, I want to talk about this customizer. In the past, the WordPress customizer was really hard to work with and did not have as much features. This made developers make their own settings and options page to change how the theme functions. However, in recent updates, the customizer is starting to become the main way to modify a theme. A lot of theme developers are opting to use the customizer. We will definitely be working with the customizer soon. For now, let's focus on the secondary menu on the top. We've already created a menu before, so try in creating another one yourself. If you aren't able to do it, then let's try it together. I'm not going to go over every detail, so we'll fly by this quickly. First, in the setup function, use the register nav menu function. I'm going to reuse the previous code and replace these values with the word secondary like so. With the menu registered, we can now display it. I'm gonna go into the admin dashboard and create a new menu and assign it to the secondary location. Inside the header template, I'm going to copy and paste the last menu into the other menu spot. I'm going to replace these 2 values with the secondary menu and then set the depth to 1, since I don't want dropdowns for this secondary menu. Refresh the page and you should now see the secondary menu being displayed. So far, everything is really coming together. This ad spot has been broken for some time, so let's fix that. Previously, we used the plugin WP Subtitle to add subtitles to our post. We will be doing something similar to this. In the resource section, I provide a link to the WP Quads plugin. This plugin handles advertisement for WordPress sites. It's a really great plugin that is updated constantly. The best part is that it's developer friendly. We can create our own custom ad spots and have it managed by this plugin. This frees us from having to handle all the logic ourselves. I want you to install and activate this plugin through the admin dashboard. After doing so, look inside the WP Content/Plugins folder. This is where all your plugins are installed. The Quick AdSense Reloaded plugin is the plugin we just installed. Open up the includes/API.php file. You'll notice in these comments, the developer left notes on how to integrate this plugin into your theme. There are 2 steps you need to do. The first step is to tell WP Quads that you have a custom ad spot in your theme. The second step would be instructing where that ad spot is. I'm going to register this ad spot in the setup function instead of the functions file. The reason I'm doing this is because the setup function is called right after our theme has been loaded. So I know nothing yet has been officially processed until it was put in the function file, so it's technically the same thing. The only difference is that it's in separate files. This makes our code look a lot cleaner. I'm going to copy and paste the commented code into this function like so. I'm only going to have one spot. You'll see that this code does 2 things. First, we use a conditional statement to check if the function quads register add exists. This way, we know that the WP Quads plugin is activated. Then, we call the function quads register add, which has 2 parameters. The first is the ID of the location. I'm going to call this Udemy header, and for the description, it will be Udemy header position. With this in place, WP Quads will now know we have an ad spot. Inside the admin dashboard, you'll find the WP Quads menu. Under the ads code, I'm going to paste in an image tag. The image that I'm using is from my site called Placeholdit. I'll provide a link to this image. This site allows you to modify the size of the image and create a temporary placeholder. This is really great for web development. Save the changes and then switch to the position tab. You'll notice that our new position is showing up at the very bottom. Activate this position and assign it to the first ad we created. Our ad is ready, and now all we have to do is display it. Inside the header template, look for the div tag with the class top advert. Inside, add a conditional statement that checks for the function quads add. Then, I'm going to call this function and pass in an array with the key location. The name of the location will be the location you passed in to the quads register add function. This function will return the HTML we passed in previously. So, we have to echo it out. That's it. Let's check if our ad appears appropriately. Just like that, we now have ads on our site. This plugin is amazing and takes care of managing ads. This is the second plugin we've used in our theme. It's extremely common for theme developers to bundle their themes with plugins. This increases the value of your theme. In a future lecture, I will go over how you can bundle plugins with your theme properly. The reason I'm not showing you now is because I don't want to have to constantly update multiple files whenever we add a plugin. I would rather knock it out all at once when our theme is nearly finished. For now, we will continue working on the header and eventually move to the footer. On the header, we have the social icons. For these icons, we will be using the WordPress Customizer. This will introduce us to how the customizer works and how to extend it. I do want to give you a warning. So far, we've really just been calling functions and using WordPress's templating system to handle a lot of the logic for us. WordPress will still help us with extending the customizer, but we will be writing a lot more code and be focusing more on the code rather than the visual aspect. The customizer can seem overwhelming, but I promise you, we will be using it constantly, so you will get used to it eventually. I highly recommend you take a break before moving on to the next lecture. See you there.